There's a silent workhorse in your home. It's the machine that keeps you from melting during those brutal summer heat waves and stays on duty through the coldest winter nights. You probably don't even think about your HVAC system right up until the moment it dies. And that's when it hits you just how much you rely on it. So, let's get into it. This is your survival guide for your home's climate control.
Here's the game plan for our little masterclass. We're going to start by giving your system the credit it deserves. Then we'll look at the constant war it's fighting against the weather. From there, we'll figure out what's happening when it finally breaks down, tackle that huge repair or replace question, and finally, we'll arm you with everything you need to know to be a really savvy homeowner.
All right, so let's just take a moment to appreciate this thing. It's not just some box humming away outside your house, right? It's a seriously complex machine that's running pretty much all the time, battling the elements, just so you can have your own personal indoor oasis. Its health is directly connected to your comfort and, let's be honest, your bank account.
To really get a handle on the insane amount of pressure these systems are under, you've got to look at where they live and work. We're going to use Fairfax, Virginia as our case study here because it is the perfect example of a climate that just puts an HVAC system through the ringer all year long.
I want you to think about it like this. Your HVAC unit is basically a soldier on the front lines, 24/7. It gets 0 days off. Every single day, it is fighting enemies that are trying to wear it down. And of course, they always seem to win on the absolute hottest or coldest day of the year. You know how it goes.
Okay, so who are the bad guys in this fight? Well, in a place like Fairfax, you've got summer humidity that's often over 70%. That forces the AC to work like crazy, just pulling water out of the air. Then, bam, you've got freezing winters that push the heating side to its limits. Even the ground itself is an enemy. That wet clay soil can literally cause ductwork to rust out. And all those beautiful trees, they're dropping leaves and gunk that can choke the outdoor unit. It's truly a war on all fronts.
All that stress, all that fighting, eventually, something's got to give. So let's talk about what happens when your system finally starts to wave the white flag. What are the warning signs you need to look out for?
So what does it actually look or even sound like when it's about to fail? Think about it for a second. Have you ever stood under a vent and thought, hey, air is blowing, but it's not cold? Or maybe you've heard a weird buzzing or clicking sound coming from that unit outside. Well, those are distress signals, and we need to learn how to read them.
And this chart here breaks it down beautifully. That warm air you're feeling? Probably a refrigerant leak. Maybe from coils that got corroded by all that humidity we talked about. That weird clicking noise? A tiny, cheap part called a capacitor probably got fried in a power surge. And if you're smelling something musty or seeing water stains, your condensate drain is likely clogged up, and that can lead to some serious water damage. See? These aren't just random issues. They're the direct results of that climate battle.
And this all leads us to the moment every single homeowner dreads. The technician gives you the bad news, and now you're facing a really big, really expensive question. This is where having a clear way to make the right call is absolutely crucial.
I mean, it's the ultimate dilemma, isn't it? Do you spend a few $100 to patch up your old, limping system and just cross your fingers that it lasts another season? Or do you bite the bullet and invest thousands of dollars in a brand new one? How in the world do you make that call without just flipping a coin?
Well, check this out. Here is a fantastic little tool to take the guesswork out of it. It's called the $5,000 rule. The math is super simple. You just take the age of your system and multiply it by the repair quote. If that number is over 5,000, it's a pretty strong sign that replacement is the smarter financial move. So, for example, let's say your system is 12 years old and needs a $450 repair. Well, 12 times $450 is $5,400. That's over the line. According to this rule, it is time to start looking at new units.
Now, that rule is a great guide, but you also have to weigh the classic pros and cons. A repair, yeah, it's cheaper right now, but you're still left with an older, less efficient machine that's probably just going to break down again. A new system has that big price tag up front, no doubt, but what you get is reliability, a brand new warranty, and lower energy bills every single month. The key is to think about the long-term value, not just the immediate hit to your wallet.
Okay, so whether you decide to repair or replace, you're going to have to call in a professional. And this next part is all about shifting you from being a passive customer to an informed, empowered homeowner who knows exactly what to ask for and what to expect.
I just love this quote because it really gets to the heart of what a good experience should feel like. The person who knocks on your door should be there to diagnose and solve your problem, period. Not to pressure you into buying the fanciest, most expensive thing they have. Their goal should be to fix your issue, not to make a huge sale.
So what does that look like in the real world? It's pretty simple. First, when you schedule, you get a specific arrival window, not some vague "will be there between 8 and 5 nonsense. Second, and this is a big one, you get a clear written quote before they start any work. No surprise charges. And third, after the repair is done, the tech needs to test the system to confirm it's actually fixed before they pack up and leave. That should be your standard for good service.
All right, to really feel in control of that conversation, you need to be able to speak a little bit of the language. So let's quickly decode a few key terms you're probably going to hear so you'll know exactly what they're talking about.
So if you hear someone mention a manual J, that's a great sign. It means they're doing a real calculation to figure out the exact size system your house needs. They're not just guessing. EPA's Section 608 just means they're legally certified to handle refrigerants without harming the environment. A SEER rating? That's basically the MPG for your air conditioner. The higher the number, the more efficient it is and the more money you save. And duct sealing is super important. It's just using special tape to plug air leaks so you stop paying to air condition your attic.
So let's wrap this all up. If you remember nothing else, remember these 4 things. First, your local climate is the #1 enemy of your HVAC system. Second, learn what those warning signs look and sound like. Third, keep that $5,000 rule in your back pocket to help you with that huge repair or replace decision. And finally, you should expect and demand a clear, transparent process from any contractor you hire.
And that really brings us to the final thought. Now that you have this knowledge, you can stop feeling like a victim when your system breaks down and start acting like its partner. So the only question left to ask is this: is your home's unsung hero ready for that next heat wave or cold snap? And more importantly, are you?